Yeah, I try to act really say it with the chest a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was, I was kind of. I have to admit, I was cracking up a little bit because I was like waiting to get the link for Zencaster, and then I was just like refreshing the inbox and just seeing like password reset links being
Yeah,
sent.
I knew you were gonna see that. Fuck. I was like, man, he's gonna accidentally click on the reset link instead of the invite.
No, I didn't accidentally see it, but I was just loving like how it was kind of indirectly telling a story.
Yeah, yeah, brushing a little bit of dust off.
Yeah, exactly.
I had
Well,
to
how's it
shake
going,
the
man?
mic off, and all the cobwebs flew off of it everywhere.
It's been a little bit. It's been a little bit. How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm been hanging in there, dude. It's been like cold as shit here recently. It's been
Yeah.
snowy, and so there were like 2 weeks of just snow. They don't do any maintenance on the roads here, so it was just like sheets of ice everywhere. So I didn't go anywhere really, and just kind of was like kicking it at the crib, working on music and stuff like that. But I'm just ready for, I don't know, warmer weather, sunshine, stuff like that.
Do
Um,
you guys get much snow usually?
Not really. I mean, we get several snows a year, but usually not like too extreme. And we got like 14 inches of snow in the course of like 20 hours. Um,
Holy shit,
and
that's
then
a
it
lot.
was, yeah, it was a lot all at once, and it was below freezing for 10 days after that. So nothing melted, nothing like went away. So it's just kind of like, and our city is just falling apart. The infrastructure is not well maintained. And so, kind of going along with that, there's not good, road services and
Mhm.
plowing and salting. So basically, if it's not a main thoroughfare highway like the main ones that pass through, then basically you're kind of fighting for yourself out there on the
I'm
city
fighting for my
streets.
fucking life out here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, it's funny because I think that we um have a decent amount of like plows and infrastructure for that stuff. And I'm convinced that just like around Seattle, they just like don't know how to use the shit. Cause I like
Mm,
see it all over the place. I like see them doing the work. It's just that everything just gets fucked up when it snows. We got snow a couple days ago. We're slated to get a solid amount tonight, some
oh,
more.
really?
And the last couple days, it's basically just been that like it melted, but then it froze thing,
Mm.
which is not fun. It really sucks because I'm like at home with the baby, and so I'm like trying to take the dog out with her in the harness
Oh, and
on
it's
my
slippery
chest.
out there.
And my wife is like, don't even try to do it. And then literally the first time I try to do it, I like go out and I like almost fall and eat shit, breaking
No,
my fall with the baby,
no.
like that almost happens. And it just freaked me out so fucking much. I've been like borderline afraid to even go outside at all.
Yeah.
Um,
I would be that
and
way a lot, I feel like, while holding a baby. Like, I'd be so scared of accidentally falling, or like just a freak accident happens and like I
the
just
nice
lose
thing
my
is
balance.
the nice thing is like the first couple of weeks just get you so acclimated that you like get pretty numb to that.
Yeah.
But walking around on ice is a pretty novel experience with that. So
Yeah.
so yeah, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but yeah, we got a similar thing going on. I love how with everything going on, just the absolute historic shit that's been going on since we last recorded. We're literally beginning by talking about the weather.
Yeah,
This
dude.
feels like a really good bit.
Yeah. Boomer pilled for real.
Boomer Phil for real. Yeah, you been grilling any meats lately?
Dude, I've been smoking things up in the air fryer. I've actually been running
Ooh,
the crock pot off of its fucking wheels, dude. I've been getting
yes.
good
Yep.
use out of that thing.
Dude, I'm very happy to announce I've got a new kind of crock pot innovation,
Mm.
which is I'm I'm very skeptical of cold cuts. I think that they're very expensive. I think that they have a lot of preservatives in it that I
Yeah,
don't
they
really
cause
want.
cancer.
They're carcinogenic. I'm just not really into them.
Mm.
But I love them. But like I'm not into them, but I'm very into them.
Need some gabagool.
I love the gabagool, but like I don't want the pink salts. I don't
Yeah.
want all that fucking sodium whatever going in my. And so what
Mm.
I've been doing is, dude, I'm just going to Costco. I just buy a whole brisket. I trim it up, and then I chop it up into uh, parts, freeze them, and then I just crock pot brisket, and I just have brisket sandwiches.
Oh, nice. And then you just kind of
And
cut it, slice it up thin, put it on the
yeah, you
sandwich.
just yeah, you just well, no, not you. You just shred it, and then
Oh,
I just
yeah.
like toss it up with like in a bowl with a little sauce,
Yeah.
and then you just have like a barbecue brisket sandwich.
God, that sounds good.
It's really fucking good. My buddy, shout out, what up, grows microgreens.
Mm.
And so like, dude, you get like some like whole wheat bread, a little bit of mayo on there, some microgreens, a little bit of mustard, and then just some like barbecue brisket. And it's
Mm.
like, holy shit, it's a winner.
That's some straight up Korean barbecue fusion kind of stuff right there, dude. When you get the
Dude,
microgreens, it elevates the dish.
it 100, dude, microgreens in general, pretty good.
Mm.
Pretty good shit in general. Nice little crispness that adds into it.
Nothing micro about that flavor, am I right?
Nothing micro about the flavor, nothing micro about the nutritional value either.
Mm.
Talking
Macro,
about,
actually.
yeah, I was going to say macro greens, more like it.
Yeah.
Hey!
A little bit delayed there. Still getting my reaction time up.
Dude, straight up, I just want to jump right into it.
Let's do it.
So we were visiting family on the day of the inauguration. And so
Mm.
we actually got to have a pretty fun time with my mom.
Oh,
Just
yeah, you
like,
were saying that. You
yeah,
get
I think
some
I was
meats
texting
going?
you. Yeah, yeah. Well, wasn't anything crazy. We just made some dogs,
Mm.
made some dogs, and just watched the full day. I don't know that I ever actually watched an inauguration because I'm not fucking Lisa Simpson dork ass. But it was a pretty good one, and I did get to watch live Trump basically just talk shit to like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in his speech to their faces,
God, yeah.
um, which was pretty fucking sick. And it's funny because like my mom was just like nerding out the whole time, and like it was pretty cringe where she was just like, "Yeah, I love this guy, yes, yes," and like just cheering. But I have to say, like after a few weeks of this, I think she had the right idea because
He's
this
cooking.
is well, so yeah, man. I mean, I like to think that we bring a healthy amount of skepticism, um, and I really never expected him to deliver to the degree that he's been delivering. I don't know how you've been feeling about it. I imagine you probably are thinking the same thing.
I mean, he
Um,
came out of the gate swinging, dude.
Swinging big time. I mean, he
Yeah.
like the inauguration day wasn't even over before he was doing the fucking photo shoot of him just signing executive orders on camera.
Yeah. And then throwing the pin out into the crowd like
Throwing the pen
drumsticks
out.
after a
Yeah,
show.
yeah, throwing the fucking pen out. Just instantly releasing the J6 people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let my
Um,
boys go free, dog.
dude, it's been pretty unbelievable. I think we were texting before the show, and I think you like, it's just like a lot to fucking cover, and
Mm.
I don't even know how one does cover it because I mean the whole strategy really is just a barrage. Like it's just a stun.
The
Uh,
deluge.
the deluge, right? Like how does the enemy even keep up with it? And it's working. It also means I don't even really know how to keep up with it. At this point, I'm like purely, even more than I usually am, I'm like basically purely vibes based analysis because I can barely
100%.
keep up.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
that's the only thing to really do. Like, shit's so schizophrenic now. The best way to have a handle on anything is just to be a generalist and read the vibes. If you get too bogged down in reading of the specific stories and headlines, you're never going to see the full picture.
well, yeah, you're just going to be getting led around by the fucking nose.
Yeah.
Well, there's such diminishing returns.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I've been having a fucking ball with it. The vibe shift. I mean, I'm not going to be saying anything people haven't probably already heard, but the vibe shift is unbelievable, and I'm so happy to be able to say um, that. Yeah, I mean, this surpassed anything I expected, and I will say, in the past, I had talked a lot about how we're going to have a swing to like just the era of normal.
Mm-hmm.
And in retrospect, it's so obvious that it needed to be Trump in order for that to happen.
Yeah.
Um, and it's pretty wild. I still kind of buy into a certain degree to this theory that, like, I think that elements of the establishment kind of just were like, fuck it, let's just concede it to him. Because I think a lot of this stuff that's getting done, um, certainly not all of it, but a decent amount of the stuff I think is just like the pressure was building up and someone literally needed to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it was easier for the establishment just to be like, well, just let him in and do it. Um, that said, I think the stuff going on with like USAID is,
Based.
it's super based, and I don't think that that was like controlled opposition.
No.
I mean, the question, I was talking to my mom about this earlier. The question is, as I do when I'm not on the podcast, I'm doing political discourse with my mommy,
Yeah.
or my friggin' wife.
Hey, you got a female perspective, dude. That's helping keep
Dude,
you balanced.
exactly. We value here. These people are sick. We value the female, the feminine, softer touch and perspective.
And that's something you
Um,
may not get unless you read between the lines a little bit here, because we
that's a,
rarely have a female guest, if ever.
I actually don't know that we've ever had a woman on the show.
Oh Lord, I'm gonna keep it that way. God
Yeah, we're
bless.
gonna keep it, God willing.
Yeah.
Dude, my wife's made some noise about wanting to come on before, and I'm like, I can't.
Oh,
When if the feds come for me, you need plausible deniability, honey. I'm
that's so
sorry.
true. But I mean, here's
Someone
the
needs.
thing: they can't block you both up. Who's gonna look after the baby?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm doing it. I'm doing it for my daughter.
Dude, Death
Um,
Race.
I'm doing it for my daughter.
That's Jason Statham like every movie.
Oh, it's the stave. But yeah, no, man. I mean, the question now, as I was saying to my dear mum, is just like, dude, how long does it even take the left to like come back from the damage that's being inflicted right now? Like the whole thing with USAID, which I mean, this has got to be a great time to be bog beef,
Yeah.
because the whole discourse right now is just this is an attack on a patronage network.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know why I got this number in my head, but like I don't see them coming back to where they were at in any less than like 14 to like 20 years of real work and like clawing stuff back. Now, obviously the big critique that people have is that because most of this is being done via executive
Yeah.
orders, though I don't think the USAID thing is. I think that's just a DOGE thing.
I think that was Doge. Yeah.
The executive orders can just day one be reversed,
Which is what he
by
did
employees soon.
actually when he got in there with a lot of the Biden stuff. Like
Oh
one
yeah,
of the main things he did was like, I'm getting rid of all those like last second executive orders that Biden passed. So it's like
yeah.
something that happens pretty regularly.
Oh my gosh,
But
that also reminds me, dude. What about the fucking? We have to talk about the pardons too. I cut you off though. I'm sorry.
oh, you're fine. Yeah, dude. I think it's pretty common that like you can just shut down an executive order like the next presidency, but a lot of the stuff
Yes,
is like he's getting it into action right now, and so there's going to be like infrastructure that needs to be rebuilt after it's been like taken apart for 4 years straight. So even that will set you back a good bit, even if you do just immediately reverse every order. If the Democrats get elected in 4 years, which who knows, it could not go that way, and then no one's trying to reverse the orders. So
I'm gonna be real with you. I can't imagine that they're gonna win in 4 years. I cannot imagine. Now that said, I mean, shit's working. Dude, we're on Lennon time right now. You know what I mean? Shit's moving at light speed.
mm,
But I mean, dude, at this point, I mean, oh god, there's so much to talk about. I'm just going to be tripping over myself this whole conversation. Um, uh, One of the most shocking aspects of this whole thing is, I mean, there's a ton that's shocking, but for me personally, and I think I think this probably applies to both of us. The journey we've been through has made it so that I'm especially taken aback by the complete collapse organizationally of the left. Like nothing happened.
yeah,
Nothing happened. No one did anything. Like we know somebody. I mean, just this is a person we love personally, but just fucking total libtard. Just like, you know, making some post on social media about like, hey man, I think I saw an ice truck, you know,
Mm.
flipped them off, fuck these guys, right? And it was just funny because like we're laughing at it and it's like, oh, look at our fucking normie friend who's being cringe. But I'm realizing it's like, dude, this is like take that though and zoom it out to just the
Yeah.
macro. That's it. That's all that there is. um it's kind of blowing my mind. And
Yeah.
think about this compared to like the huge fucking George Floyd surge a few years ago. Like, dude,
I think
what
that
a
was like
fucking
a bit
drop
of
off.
like a um boy who cried wolf thing. Like I think everyone just got their energy out of the way and they're like, you're not gonna get me again. I'm not gonna get back out there and deal with all that bullshit again over nothing. Like I don't think anyone really cares at the end of the day. It's easy to posture, you can post some shit online, you read some shit, you get mad or whatever. But like at the end of the day, are these people really going to go out and protest for the removal of immigrants that are like here illegally and stuff? I don't think most of these people actually feel that way. They'll reshare some stuff that's like Spanish writing infographics about here's what to do if ICE shows up at your work and
Right, right,
that kind
right.
of shit. But they're not going to go out in the street, dude. They're going to sit on TikTok. They're going to, which is still around. They're going to sit at home and just fucking, they're not going to go out anymore. I don't really
Dude,
think that's a thing anymore.
yeah, well, I mean, I think it's helpful too, you know, to obviously point out like um the BLM protests were also severely juicing their numbers because people were on fucking lockdown and that was
Yeah.
their excuse to get out.
Mm.
So that's relevant, you know.
Yeah, you tell me I
Um,
could take my mask off and get sunshine with strangers? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. What are we
also,
protesting again?
I'm starting to get the sense too, just from all of this, that like my theory that that election and that whole protest season really represented the machine overexerting itself.
Yes.
Um, and I think that they tried to rig it again, but they just didn't have the calories for it, and then the right just perfectly countered it because they had 4 years to reorganize and just
Yeah.
counter it.
And they
But
didn't have like the networks built up like they did the previous like in 2020, like with social media companies and stuff like that. They didn't have quite the pool to really be able to orchestrate things in the media like they wanted to.
yeah, and that's I guess that like I feel like that's another good segue into just the vibe shift, which is just
Yeah.
like everything I mean, are you feeling it? You know, like have you like everything feels different.
Everything's strange. Like you have all these fucking tech, just absolute slime lords coming out of the woodwork with a different tune now. Do you got Bill
Oh
Gates
man.
like trying to be based? You've got
Wait, is
uh
Bill Gates trying to be based?
he
That
said
fucking
something.
lizard?
I saw some article, I can't remember it now, but he was saying something about it was something that was pretty based. And it wasn't like actually, but he was, trying to change his tune a little bit, but definitely Mark Zuckerberg is. And it's really strange, man. I don't really like all that shit at all. I don't like the Elon shit at all. Um, I don't like the tech people kind of like kissing the ring. I get that it's like it's a sign that they have to, so it's kind of nice, but at the same
Mhm.
time, it's just like I don't know, I think it's moral laundering in a lot of ways that like people are just kind of gonna let happen and then there's like, man, he's like actually these guys are kind of cool. So that's
Yeah,
that's
well,
my thing with that. But
that's something that you and me are 100% in agreement about. These tech guys are, I think scientists in general are like
kind of
they're like a
sick.
two they're kind of twisted up little freaks, right?
Yeah.
But they're useful as utility, but like they need to be kept on a tight leash. I like don't trust Musk. Musk is a fucking snake. I mean, like all you need to know is that like Vivek lost his fucking job over the
Yeah.
H1B shit, and Musk I think stepped in it even worse than Vivek, and Musk is still around, right?
Yeah.
Because he's making himself critical. That said, like Musk, and I mean maybe it's already too late, but Musk needs to not be allowed to be anything more than an axe man or a hatchet
Hmm.
man, because uh, he's a fucking libertarian minded fucking capitalist retard.
Yeah, dude.
And so he's the guy who comes in and rips the cabinets out, and he's probably great at that. But I don't want him putting my flooring in. You know
Yeah.
what I
No,
mean?
of course not. I
And
don't want him having anything to do with the design or construction of anything that's coming next. Maybe just
what
tear some shit down, but don't even think about what to build.
100%. And I was talking about this today. I think we've talked about this before for sure. It's just like among the like factions in MAGA right now, like uh we talk a lot about the Christian nationalists, we talk a lot about the tech people. I have a lot of criticisms about both, but like, to be fair, the Christian nationalists, despite the fact that they constitutionally need to scare the hose every 2 minutes, are like well-meaning people with integrity, whereas like the tech people are like fundamentally alienated from being
Yeah.
human, and they're fucking capitalists, and that, like, they need to be put in their place. We'll see if this alliance is doomed, but so far, like, I think that they're so far delivering on what they meant to, which is basically auditing the federal government.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
and
the
again,
USAID shit is super based, and that's like an Elon thing. That's a department of whatever, DOGE. I don't even know, government efficiency, which is also so like,
it's
I don't know.
retarded.
I like that it's nice that they're like taking apart USAID. I like that they're like going after some of the bureaucracy, and they're obviously tearing down the networks that worked against Trump for the past 4 to 8 years. And that's cool. I like that. But I don't really like this whole like
Efficiency.
yeah, like in the name of efficiency, it's like, word, you're letting the machine take over. Like you're letting the capitalist machine, like it's just
Yep.
openly saying, oh, we're doing this for efficiency. We're doing this so we can get to robots faster. I don't like that. And it's like austerity wrapped up in this like efficiency rhetoric. It's very like techno optimist, capitalist kind of.
Well, it's
I hate all
neoliberal.
that.
It's
Yes.
neoliberal. It's again this whole like, well, there's so much monetary waste that we need to come in, run it like a business, and it's like, okay, again, and that's why I'm saying, like, he needs to be a hatchet man. He needs to be nothing else.
Yeah.
Like I think about. Well, okay, so hear me out, because this is I 100% agree with you, and that is basically there's a lot of, you know Trump saying one thing but actually meaning a different thing going on
Yeah.
lately, and it's genius and it's working really fucking well. Obviously, the best example of it is the tariffs. Hey, we're gonna put these tariffs in. It's going to replace the income tax. Tariffs are going to be like really good. We're just going to replace taxes. Other countries are going to pay our taxes. It's going to work good. It's not how tariffs work, and everybody knows that. But you say that so that the boomer cons can just be like, yeah, for sure, tariffs are great, right?
Yeah. No more
And in
taxes. That's
reality,
good.
in reality, what it is him just going to Mexico and Canada and being like, I'm gonna punch myself in the balls so fucking hard that it creates an earthquake that knocks your house down.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh fuck, we literally can't afford you to punch yourself in the balls that hard. We're gonna start enforcing the law at the
Mm.
border. And then he's like, cool, all right, cool. And then we don't have the tariffs haven't gone into effect, right? It
Yeah.
instantly worked. It's the same. It's a similar thing going on, in my opinion. I don't even think it's my opinion. I think it's fucking obvious with the deportation stuff, right? This is about sending criminals back. No, it's fucking not. It's about the fucking economic component. Okay.
Yeah.
It's about the labor component. But again, like, boomer cons are retarded. And so, it's probably going to be more helpful for a public opinion thing to be like, this is about Mexicans lighting people on fire in the trains. No, it's not. That's not really, I think, a statistically notable portion of the pie.
God, if it
Um,
was, that would be so crazy. There's
and I
just
think,
so many Mexicans lighting people on fire in the subway.
that would be so much. And I think it's a similar thing here. I think this is people reading. I think this is people who are like familiar with like illiberal dissident theory, basically code switching to like boomercon politics to be like,
Yeah.
this is about ending government waste, and then like kind of winking and being like, this is actually about just clobbering our opponent's resources
Yes,
and
I
making
think you're
sure they
onto
can't do
something with
that
that.
anymore.
I
I
think
think that's what it is. I think you need to talk like a fucking retard. I don't think anyone who actually is worth anything as far as like political analysis is actually looking at this as like a finally we're gonna end government waste. Like I think my dad who's coming over for the Super Bowl tomorrow is gonna be like, I think it's great, we're ending waste. And I'll like pat him on the head. You know, I won't do that. I
yeah,
would never do that. But you know what I mean? Like it's just like he gets to think that and that's fine, you know, and he gets a lollipop on his way out from the fucking doctor's office. I don't know, you know, but like it's not about that.
yeah.
I think so, especially because like that really is what happened with the tariffs.
hmm And that's also like what Trump's been kind of good at in general. His whole political career, it feels like, is using like in
The
not
buzz.
necessarily, yeah, like using the words and like being able to kind of use kind of inflammatory or kind of incendiary or demagogic kind of rhetoric towards his like his agenda, and that's been effective in a big way. And I think that's definitely like what it is with like the immigration thing and deportations. It's like, oh, these are dangerous criminals and all this and all that. It's like, yeah, that's concealing and also selling to the public like what's actually going on. And it's working and it's effective. And so I think that's kind of been a big part of his whole success and a lot of his intelligence as a political operative is like he is good at selling shit, like, you know, not just like actually selling in the boardroom, but he's good at dressing stuff up and making it sound a way to sell it to different types of people.
100%. And um one thing that I kind of figured out about his strategy and what is so genius in my opinion about the tariff thing is that it has more punch the more liberal misunderstanding and like doomsaying there is about it, because the more the libtards and the normies go, oh my god, this is going to be a fucking disaster, oh my god, this is going to be a fucking disaster, not understanding what he's actually doing, the more heft, and at the very least, even if the world leaders understand what he's doing,
The public.
it exactly, it still creates more cultural pressure to make it effective, right? And so like in this way it's kind of like what he did in 2016, right? Like he's going to act in a way that liberals don't like so that he can provoke a behavior in them that shoots him forward in what he's trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Again, the tariff thing has been fucking genius.
hmm
It's working extremely well. I'm interested to see what'll happen after the 30-day delay, because I don't want tariffs. We'll see, you know.
I don't really
Um,
care. I mean, I don't want things to be more expensive because of tariffs, if that's like, you know, a result that would happen if things actually go into place and stuff. But I do like the idea of like from like a production standpoint, it does incentivize United States based production of things, and I think that that's like ultimately a good thing in the end of the, you know, the end run. I think that it's obviously like gonna make shit more expensive, and then like everyone can't afford shit, and that's not good. And like I don't want that for me on a day to day basis. But like if the long term thing is that it incentivizes like reshoring some production and stuff like that, that's a positive to me. And that's not even really like what's being talked about. Like with the tariffs are being used, like you're saying, a lot is like leverage where we're going to make it so that Mexico will stop like just flooding the border and like not accepting or not actually like carrying out their part of the deal. We're going to make it so they're not just like looking the other way and letting cartels just like run fentanyl up through the southern border. Same thing with Canada. And so that I like. And also I just don't really, I don't care. I kind of want shit to be here again. I want the people to make shit in America. And I know that's maybe not exactly what would happen, but I do think that like it incentivizes that. And if it's like you need a number of years of it being like pretty hard for a while to do that, if that's what's actually would be on the other end of it, I would be open to that. Um
well, so we see 100%, the that's the other side of it, is the onshoring potential, and I think that there's reason to think that we can accomplish that
yeah.
without needing to put them into place. Because you see, president of Japan comes by, has a meeting with Trump, says that a number of Japanese auto manufacturers are gonna build plants in the United States. I think that the same exact thing that's happening with the border enforcement could happen in the market with onshoring production here, and
Yeah.
we might not even need to do it. You know what I mean? So 100%. But again, I do think, yeah, to your point, I mean, I think you need to be prepared to put them into effect.
Yeah.
And so I am, you know.
Dude, the tariffs are fucking. It's been incredibly effective because, like, the thing you're talking about, where maybe the world leaders know what's going on, but the public are going to kind of like cause this hysteria about it. Dude, I have people, retards that I know that don't know a damn thing about tariffs or fucking geopolitics or any kind of economics, and they're coming up to me talking about, dude, the tariffs, bro. Are you ready to pay so much more? The tariffs and this and that. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude. What the fuck are you talking about? You've never heard the word tariff except for social studies, and now all of a sudden you're an expert on geopolitical, like, economics and trade and shit. What are you talking about? So, like, it definitely is causing that groundswelling of general anxiety amongst certain levels of the population, and it has been very effective in kind of what you're talking about, like actually putting these people's feet to the fire a little bit.
Yeah, it's fucking unbelievable. I don't know if you saw the post that Trudeau made on Twitter.
Mm-mm.
Um, but I mean, basically just complete
What's he even
capitulation.
talking for? Didn't he resign?
He's still in office for another month or two.
Oh, kind of a Biden type situation.
I
Where
believe so.
you're
Kind of
like,
a.
he's not actually in charge at all, but he's still sticking around for whatever reason.
I mean, somebody needs to talk as a representative. But
He
yeah,
should do his
no.
last press conference in blackface. Just bring it full circle.
Jesus Christ.
He should.
Trump should threaten additional tariffs if he doesn't do that.
I would love that. Then
And
I'd
so we got
really be on board.
100%, dude. Now then we would be in a truly American golden age.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, so what? We got the tariffs. We've got Oh no, another thing. I hope that I'm correct on this. So Trump's currently talking about, like, we're gonna move all the Palestinians out of Gaza,
Yeah.
and rebuild it.
Mm.
Um, I'm not saying that that's like a deal breaker or anything. I'm truly hoping that he's talking shit, in a similar way, because that sounds fucking awful.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I think he is. I think it's kind of retarded to think that, like, Trump is going to send all of these Palestinians to these countries that very obviously are never in a million years going to fucking take them,
Yeah.
and then turn the West Bank into a fucking Trump like vacation spot. But again, I think he's just going out there, and I think he's just saying shit.
He's firing from the hip. Yeah.
He's just firing from the hip, and it's working. So we've got ceasefire. People are releasing hostages.
That happened like immediately too. Like,
that happened before he was even inaugurated.
yeah, just a couple days before, and it was like, all right, we're done with this shit.
There was also like 5 seconds where, like, libs were trying to say that Biden did it, and then they instantly gave up on that, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, Biden was sleepwalking into the room, accidentally clicked the ceasefire button. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, here, give me half a second here.
Cool.
Yeah. So okay, so we got the ceasefire. We
The
got
Gaza
the
thing.
tariffs.
I've got stuff on the Gaza thing.
Dude, go off.
It's been something I've been thinking about because, okay, so I went back to work yesterday, and it was the first time in a while, the first time since the inauguration and everything, and like the world has changed drastically since I've been in work, and my boss is not handling it well. He's tapped into like the Gen X millennial NPR kind of timeline, I guess, and he's just like, I go over there, he's like, well, turbulent time in the news cycle the past few weeks, huh? And I was like,
Who said this?
my boss when I went to work.
Oh,
And I'm
yeah, he's
like,
probably on suicide watch.
he basically is, yeah. He basically is. Like, he hadn't done shit at work, like, as far as like since I left. Like, he's supposed to use the off season to organize and retool and everything. And like, I get back and shit's worse than when I left. And he's like, yeah, I mean, it's just been a lot going on in the news. It's like hard to focus. I'm like, bro, how are you letting headlines about immigrants like make it so where you can't run your small business? What the fuck are you talking about? But the main thing, he's like,
Wait, does that mean you're allowed to show up to work and just like not do much?
I think so. I mean,
That
he
rocks.
let his girlfriend, aka my coworker, do that for like the 2 weeks after the election. Uh,
Dude, you should start saying you need like paid mental health days and like show up and just don't do anything.
God, I just be like, I need to be on the clock, but I have to sit down and drink this lemonade in the shade,
You're
or
like,
else
brother, I
I'm
just
gonna
learned
flip.
that I just learned I'm 1/32nd Mexican.
Yeah,
And
they're coming for me.
yeah, I've been having tremors from just the anxiety.
But so I get there and he's like, how are you taking it? And I was like, I'm pretty fine with everything. I'm just like living my life day to day. And he's like, we just have a president that's out here talking about he's going to take Canada, he's going to take Greenland, he's going to take Gaza. We can't have presidents doing that. We can't all this, all that. He's like, we're slipping back into a world of imperialism and this and that. And oh my God. And I was like, no, that's not what's happening. What's happening now, if anything, is like the quiet part is just being said out loud a little bit. Because
Yeah.
don't act like the plan wasn't always for fucking BlackRock to go in there and turn Gaza into a beach town. Or some fucking development company, something like that. That was always the plan. It's the plan with Ukraine. It's the plan here. It's the plan in the Palisades. It's the plan in fucking Hawaii. It's the plan everywhere. When shit is going to, be destroyed and they're going to keep funding wars to blow this place up and destabilize this region and get the people that live there out of there, they have plans to make money, 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 money after that. And they do that by rebuilding shit. And I hate it. I don't like it. I don't want to be a part of something like that. Part of why I voted for Trump and was like supportive of him is that he's like, no more wars, and we're going to get out of these wars and that kind of stuff. We're going to like mind our own business. And I like that. Um, so the thing with the Gaza, I have lots of different kind of thoughts on it. Number one, obviously, I don't want that. I don't want us in control of Gaza. I don't want us sending troops over to the Middle East for any other reason anymore. I don't want us to have any more interest over there. I want it to be here. I don't want to be getting more tied up with Israel and Netanyahu and these fucking Zog freaks. I don't want anything to do with that. And I am somewhat, cautious about this like very close wedding between Trump and Netanyahu. It's like this like, I mean, that's clearly what's going on here. It's very zogged up kind of behavior. But at the same time, my kind of devil's advocate position on that is like, he's just kind of, I think he's just kind of, I don't think he really means that. And if he does, I think he's just saying the quiet part out loud. He's just like, hey, we're all sitting here. I'm a businessman. I'm a real estate developer. Someone's gonna fucking develop this country, BlackRock or Vanguard or some other fucking multinational corporation. So like, why don't I develop it? Why don't we have it? Why don't we make money off of it? And it's like, I don't love that, but it's thinking more like he's thinking more like a country than he is like thinking about as just some sort of faceless floating bureaucrat that's like just going to pass it off in the shadows to these international corporations. He's more like, we're going to do that. We're going to, and I don't love that because I don't want to be involved. But I do think that it's like a little bit of a departure from like someone like Biden or whatever who wouldn't have ever come out and said, we're going to fucking take over Gaza and rebuild it and make it, quote, the Riviera of the Middle East. But, he would have never said that, but he would have done it anyways in the background by basically giving the land to these people. So to me, it's kind of like, is he being honest? Is he being facetious? Who knows? Does it really matter? No. And then secondly, it's kind of like these motherfuckers have been duking it out for generation and there's no end in sight. Would it maybe be a little bit better for the world if we did just make it into the Riviera of the Middle East? I mean, and I don't like that. And I'm not suggesting that we do that or like imperialistic campaigns, anything like that. But these motherfuckers are never going to get it together. So, like, I mean, maybe it would be a net good overall for everyone, except for Palestinians. And then, well, maybe they figure it out somewhere else. That's just kind of the way of the world. That's just what's always gone on. People move in, take other land, and that's just kind of how it goes. I don't like it, but that's just where we're at now.
Here's the thing, right? I'm it's a tough point you're making, but I tend to agree, which is basically just like, how do I want to say this? Moving them and committing, I guess, like in what would be in soft terms ethnocide against them is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah,
It's more decisive and functional than not doing that and just continuing to supply bombs to kill their children,
right.
right? And so I think Marek had a really good post the other day, which is just like it's really I'm gonna paraphrase because I don't totally remember it, but it was something basically to the effect of like, we can just like bitch about somebody, I don't know if it's gonna work out, but like I'm supporting this guy coming in and actually making fucking changes,
Yeah,
as opposed to just going back to the usual hand wringing of questioning why no one comes in and makes fucking changes.
yes,
And so like I think Trump has said like a number of times that it's just like, look, it's simple. We just want people to stop being killed.
yeah,
And I respect that. I still think that he's bullshitting people about it. And that like I think that this is a bluff. But if it's not, again, like if the killing can stop, then cool. Again, part of the issue you still have though is that like, maybe we're gonna have just the same post-war kind of mistake that gets made where we just like draw a new line on a map,
yes.
and then decades from now we've kicked the can and we have some fucking horrible sectarian conflict.
Oh yeah,
um I really hope
that's
that,
for sure gonna happen.
yeah, it's like, I guess as I'm saying it, I guess it's kind of unavoidable, um but yeah.
I mean, what do you think is gonna happen in the real world? They just like wipe their hands of it, and the Palestinians and the fucking Israelites start playing happy. Like, what the fuck do we think they're gonna do, dude? They're gonna keep fighting forever, and we can call it a ceasefire now and say, hey, this is where the line is, and it won't move. And in 2 more years, some other shit's gonna pop off, and they're gonna keep after it. So, get rid of Israel and get rid of Palestine. I don't want either one of them around.
Well,
But
that's the base position, is just liquidate the whole thing.
right, dude, just fucking make it a DMZ over there or something, or just make it a free beach for everybody. But
Right.
and also, I mean, like protect some of the stuff over there. I mean, you got the cradle of the West, basically, like as far as Christian and Judeo-Christian, um, you know, historical birthplace there, and there's a lot of stuff that's very important to the religions and stuff that basically define the West and a lot of the world in general.
Mhm.
And some of these people have been blowing it the fuck up with no regard, and then some people are like, maybe we just go in there and turn into a nice shopping mall around some of that stuff, which I don't like that either. But maybe it's preferable to just blowing everything up and blowing up that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and killing more people. That's bad. So like I
Again,
don't
it's a move. It's doing something as opposed to just the usual. I'm tempted to say leftist move, but it's actually kind of universal. This desire to just be a beautiful loser and just do
mhm,
nothing instead of doing a flawed move.
just be a
Um,
bureaucrat that does nothing and just stands in the way instead of actually doing one thing one way or the other.
Exactly, and it's funny we're saying this because it is like, if there's one thing that's being smashed right now, it's like that thing that we just described there
Yeah.
is just like bureaucrats that sit around and don't actually solve anything. Like that's what's being rejected more than anything right now, and it's really exciting. And yeah, I don't know. It's really exciting.
I'm stoked about the USAID stuff. I mean, the United States Agency for International Development is a fucking glowy agency, dude. It's like they do so much sketchy shit, regime change and stuff like that, and weird kind of like health kind of bullshit all around the world, and like ideological shaping all around the world with that kind of stuff. It
Hmm.
is it's so crazy, the people who are like, I believe in self-determination for other nations and all this and all that, leftist kind of typical talking points or whatever, are the people who are like so up in arms about USAID being like dismantled. It's like, this is a good thing for you. These people are sick. Like, this is a terrible
You
organization.
said it.
It's twisted up. They're doing stuff to destabilize every country in the fucking world nonstop with billions and billions of United States taxpayer dollars, which is like the money, whatever. It's fake anyways. That's bullshit. They're not going to take that money and just put it back in your pocket. But I'm sick of that. I don't want any more like just weird meddling around the world like we do all the time. And that's like a lot of what USAID does. They're attached to a bunch of like weird kind of slush funds and stuff like that they just funnel money to for no fucking reason. And in the
Yep.
past few years, decades, they've been super on like the spreading of the globo homo agenda, if you will.
if you will.
And so they've like been doing gender study shit everywhere. They've been spending millions of dollars to educate Indian journalists on how to use the proper gendered language. It's like, yeah, what the fuck are we doing with that? Get that out of here.
Well, this is the one of the funny things is that like, um, I was talking about this on Twitter the other day. Like, it's very funny to watch leftists like defend foreign aid when
Mm.
like that's not even like I mean, again, like liberals, whatever, right? Liberals are their own thing, of course. But like seeing like actual leftists be like, I can't believe that we're cutting foreign aid, is like really bizarre because that's not like a high level leftist thought to like to consider foreign aid, just like neo-colonialism. Like that's a pretty standard
Yeah.
level one common idea.
Fuck,
But
Chomsky would
again,
tell
like
you that shit, dude.
right, and and now I would be surprised if Chomsky had anything positive to say about any of this.
Right.
I don't know. These people have no integrity.
I mean, no.
So I don't know. It's these
Slimy
people are
little
fucking.
creatures.
Yeah, these people are little fucking twisted up freaks.
These people are sick. I'm telling you, they're sick.
Thank you.
But dude, one of the first things I saw, like, because I've not been watching the news, I'm like not, I don't know, I haven't been up to date really on what's been going on. I've just been kind of getting filtered down through people that I know that are like, hey, this has happened or whatever. And then, the
Okay.
past couple of days, I went out and Googled like, what's Trump done as far as the actual executive orders. But one of the things that I heard of right off the bat was him taking us out of the World Health Organization. And that's fucking
Yeah.
sick, dude. Fuck the
Yeah. That
WHO.
rocks.
That's like the COVID kind of like finally getting some
Payback.
level of retribution or some level of just like a amendum or whatever on the whole COVID thing. And if it's only just taking us out of the WHO, at least that's something, dude.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 100%. Oh well, I have to say, uh, dude, Fauci pardon,
Yeah,
right?
oh my god, yeah, dude. I forgot to bring that up too. Fuck. That's
Dude,
admitting he did a
there's too
crime.
much to keep up with. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's not admitting anything. It's just everybody's worried about Trump being crazy. Shut up. Shut the
Yeah.
fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You know exactly what he's doing, you fucking goons. You little fucking gooners.
But
Um,
I was seeing some speculation where it's like Fauci was he was pardoned for that stuff, so that means that like he can talk about it, and he can't plead the fifth about that kind of shit. And then also like it doesn't cover like when he was doing all this like stuff with the AIDS crisis, which is like more questionable even than COVID. So I think there's still some schizo hope out there that maybe they fucking string him up in Times Square like we all want, but I think
I
it's
mean, this is in Minecraft, obviously, but like
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
this is kind of the whole thing in a nutshell, which is like we want we want action. And I think with a lot of this kind of stuff, and for the next few years, I think Prudentialist was totally right. I think this is the level where we're going to get it through a lot of lawfare, right? So there's a
Mm-hmm.
presidential pardon. Dude, they can probably find some other fucking shit to get the guy on, right? So we'll see.
He's
I
got
don't
so many
totally know. I
skeletons
mean,
in his nursing homes, dude. They're gonna find something.
so many skeletons in this nursing home. Yeah, and that's where like, it's definitely like a new Trump. You know,
Mhm.
this is like fundamentally different. Like I completely, and I was sympathetic to this argument. I totally get the caution that people kind of exercise. They're just like, okay, like we already got 4 years of this guy. Like, what the fuck are we supposed to expect here? You know? And I think after like 2 or 3 weeks now, I think it's fair to say that, you know, I mean, hopefully, obviously, we hope he keeps it up, but I think those fears have been addressed.
Yeah.
This is I've never seen anything remotely like this in my lifetime, and this actually felt like what it always should have been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's coming out. I mean, this is what I was saying too about how I think it's almost a good thing that he lost 2020 because he was able to get kind of
Yes,
refocused and like get all the bullshit out of the way and kind of recenter with some different people around him that are like not going to stand in his way constantly. And also, he's like more clear-headed now about what is he trying to do and what's the network of people that are actually against him. Like seeing the 2020 thing, like maybe just kind of made like the quote unquote deep state or whatever that he was out to dismantle in the first place, allegedly. It kind of made that come to the forefront a little bit more. You really kind of saw the little tunnels and networks that are within that whole deep state, structure. You kind of saw them exposed for what they were a little bit more during that whole process. And so now he's got kind of like targets and he's got, this is where I'm going. This is what I need to do. This is what I need to take apart. And also, yeah, he's coming out like, I mean, the man lost. He doesn't like to lose. He was
yeah.
possibly cheated out of losing, and I think he was, and rigged out of it and stuff. And so he's coming out for vengeance. Vengeance. He wants blood. Hell hath no fury like a orange man scorned. There's no.
Like an orange man almost like shot in the head.
He literally almost killed over this shit. He's like, I put my life on the line for this shit. I'm fighting for my fucking life out here.
I'm fighting for my motherfucking life out here.
That's really what it's like, dude. He's like dark MAGA now for real.
That's no man, and that's the thing is like oh man, it feels like I like I was saying earlier, it's like my mom was being corny and I was kind of cringing a little bit at the inauguration. And so this kind of stuff is hard for me to say, but like it feels like after 2020, after the assassination attempt, and now after this, it's like I feel like this is a huge collection of people who have like all been through something together.
Yeah.
And like there does feel to be some kind of wavelength that we're kind of synced up with, where it's like it does feel like he kind of went through an ontological shift after that, and like he is conducting himself differently, and it is to the point where like people like people have their little analysis of like, oh, like Ivanka was all dressed in that black hat all day and all that, and normally in the past I'd be like, that's really corny, and it is kind of corny to be like, what does it mean? But like everything has such a dramatic kind of timbre to it now. And like the stakes have been so crazy and things are coming through that are just unbelievable that it is like, honestly, I like kind of think there maybe is something to the analysis of just like, this bitch hates these people. And like, this is just like coming through and just like fucking taking out the trash. Which again, in the past, I would always just be like, what the fuck are you expecting from this guy? You know what I mean? What are you expecting? This isn't a movie. And now it's like, these people almost killed this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like shit's pretty fucking serious now.
I think you can definitely expect a lot out of him. I mean, there's definite things he's absolutely going to do and try to do. And I think that like, it's not like it was in 2016 where you're like, oh, that's just him campaigning on, like, he's going to be trying to do this stuff. I think like what to be careful of or cautious of or whatever in general is like you have to set your expectations on what those things are, because he's not going to like, make this, a perfect world for the Rust Belt or whatever. But he is going to go in there and do some shit that's for him and his network. And like, you can know what those things are going to be. It's like, yeah, maybe we get some stuff onto immigration. Maybe we get some of these fucking like foreign aid things kind of dismantled and we stop doing so much of that. Maybe we get some of these trade deals worked out a little bit better. That I think he's going to do everything he can and work towards doing that. But like, if your thing is like, oh, we're going to have like a, Rust Belt supremacy or whatever the fuck, like, that kind of shit's not going to happen, obviously. And I don't think anyone really believes that. But it's like, I don't think Trump is going to be like a savior or anything, but I think he's definitely going to do the shit that he wants to do. And some of those things I am in line with. And then some of them are just like, I don't give a fuck either way. And I'm just like, let's see something different. Let's see something done. Let's see something shaken up. Like we were on like this like stagnating path towards like the abyss for so long, just kind of rocking to sleep. Now it's like, something's changed. We might be heading faster, or we might be on a different path, or it might be, we might have gone back a little. Who knows? But at least something is happening.
Well, and that's the thing is it's I think it's pretty simple from like our point of view, which is just like, is Trump going to end bourgeois democracy?
Right.
No. Why would that be the expectation? He's a reformer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is reforming the system exactly what we want? Not really. No. But like also I would like it so that like the system is reformed so that I don't like have my job taken and be placed on house arrest for 2 years again. You know what I mean? Like I would like that stuff to stop happening. I would like this like total this total just like cultural destruction wave of nihilism across the globe to like stop, yeah. And like that can be good enough. It can be enough.
I mean, it's just all that's on the table. It's all that's available. So do you want that, or do you want just more of nothing? You know what I mean? That's kind of what the option was.
And not even just more of nothing, like more of
actively negative,
like the worst shit in the world.
Yeah. And then this is still like a lot of the worst shit that's still going on in the world. It's going to continue, but some of that worst shit's going to get toned down significantly, or maybe eliminated all the way. So would you prefer that, or would you prefer to just stick your head in the sand and continue to let everything get significantly worse? That's kind of what it is for me. And it's like, that's been my whole thing, because I have a lot of people. I thought kind of with this vibe shift and like this, return to normalcy thing, I was kind of thinking that there was going to be a big tone down of TDS, but the TDS is out there still majorly. And I also think that like the Hollywood freaks and stuff, they're still doing their thing. Like they're still doing their bullshit, dude. The Grammys happened, if anyone gives a fuck, and they gave out crazy awards. The movie awards have happened. They're giving out crazy shit to like a movie about a cartel leader who becomes a broad.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like this shit,
dude. It's that shit. So the Amelia Perez stuff is really funny, by the way, because that's another example of vibe shift in my mind. It's subtle and soft vibe shift, but that's what the movie is Amelia Perez is the tranny movie. Apparently, just as a quick thing, because I'm so interested in this, I'd forgotten about it and you reminded me. Like, yeah, it's an American film set in Mexico. Mexico. And yeah, it's about some cartel leader who's like transitioning and then whatever, right? It's a musical. Okay,
I didn't know musical. That's crazy.
And all of the musical autistic fans are like, this movie's a really bad musical. Right? So all the musical people. So really fast. All right. So Amelia Perez comes out and gets really, really mixed in mid reviews, right? And all of the musical people are loving Wicked and hate this movie. Wicked nominated for Best Picture. Amelia Perez also nominated for Best Picture. Everyone's like, what the fuck is this doing nominated for Best Picture? All the trannies hate it for whatever fucking reason because they're a circular firing line. All of the Mexicans hate it because there's no one in the movie except for like the besides the trans who is a native Spanish speaker, right? Not Ariana Grande, whatever. The fucking broad in it is everybody speaks really horrible Spanish in the movie.
Yeah.
Right. The film buffs are like, this is just a bad fucking movie. Everyone hates it. And then come to find out, the trans had like a bunch of old posts online talking about how fucking barbaric Muslims are. And so now all the libs are like literally, because films need to have an Oscar campaign. Like if you want to be in the Oscar running, you need to like you have like a spend that you need to go through and run a campaign for the Oscar. It's bullshit.
Yeah, that's crazy. I never even knew about all that.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so, and well, as a side note, rip David Lynch, but also,
God, man,
I know, but and so now like the Oscar campaign's like distancing themselves from this tranny, but this tranny's the only fucking reason that this movie that like fails to be a good film, fails to be a good musical, was ever even in consideration for any award, and not just any award, but fucking Best Picture. And so now they're distancing themselves from this one person who's the only fucking reason that any of this is being entertained. It's hilarious.
That's so crazy.
It's hilarious. And again, I think it's like it's vibe shift. It's the vibe shift.
Well, it's just like it's like kind of like the thing that happened with the 2020 kind of Black Lives Matter riots. It's like the machine just got way out in front of itself, and like it just did too much. And like this is like the internal contradictions within the entire ideology of like the bourgeois, like entertainment production class kind of coming to a head, where you're like, there's just too much going on here that's just like, yeah, this is obviously gonna be a problem. And it's kind of coming crashing down. And so yeah, I definitely see that. God, it's so ridiculous though. And then Beyonce won Best Country Album at the Grammys, like just crazy shit like that's going on. And it's like they're just digging themselves a bigger grave, it feels like. But who knows, maybe they'll fucking hang out down there and congeal into something even worse they come out with later. That's usually what they do, these fucking creatures from the Black Lagoon. But anyways, yeah, so I think there's a vibe shift going on. I think though that I was expecting there to be less TDS, and I'm just seeing TDS in a way that I didn't expect to see. And I guess it's obviously going to happen in response to the deportations. But I was just really kind of hoping everyone's going to be like chill about it. Like no one's in the streets really or anything, but people are still just being like infographic central, dude.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, there's a lot of hand wringing and seething going on for sure, and we're definitely like we're seeing that with like people we know IRL. My well, I'll just say certain people in our family are they're not being their most endearing selves right now.
Yeah.
Say, right. But again, right, like. Fucking A, dude. Like, that's it. There's nothing else. There's nothing else besides, I mean, realistically, I think the big issues are going to come from like Soros judges and shit like that. And governors. But I mean, yeah, just the libtards aren't doing anything. They're just sitting around whinging. And like, good for them. I love that for them.
Yeah, go lick your wounds.
Yeah, lick your fucking wounds, you fucking pieces of shit.
Did you see the Defend Women from Gender Ideology Act? You've seen some of these kind of based like anti-trans acts, like he's gotten the men out of women's sports is like one of the main things too.
I saw that. I saw the photo shoot for that too, which really cracked me up.
Oh, is
Did
that
you
with
see
all the
that?
broads around them, all the little kids and
No,
stuff?
it's all the little guys. I like how you know it's little girls and you're like all the broads around
Well,
them.
I thought there was broads and little girls. Like I thought it was just kind of like
I
this
mean,
huge
there's broads, there's mostly little broads.
little girls. All right, it's not appropriate to say little broads. You know, little girls. Calling women broads is even a little bit of a misstep and overstep, but it's fun. It's all in good fun. We respect the women here at T-Pass.
Yeah, if you read between the lines. But yeah, no, I saw that. Yeah, I mean it's meat to the base for sure. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but it's like, it is it's
Yeah, well,
for sure.
it's just
We're
like
riling people up.
the language of the like the title of each of the bills is like what kind of got me. Like it's just like
It goes super fucking hard. It goes
yeah,
super fucking hard. And I will say, out of all of that stuff, I find like the vindictiveness of the government employees can't have fucking email signatures with
yeah,
pronouns in them anymore. That's the thing that I'm like enjoying the most. Shit like that fucking rules. And again, like it's kind of blowing my mind, like the degree in which we're seeing such a swing from the private sector.
oh yeah,
Like the abandonment of DEI was in swing already, and now it's like I think it was today Google dropped their DEI shit.
yeah. It's full
That's
on.
unbelievable.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious it was going to happen because it's like to me, my whole thing always, for the most part, has been like woke ideology from these like the corporate class is fundamentally kind of just a new face, and they're happy to get a facelift, dude. Anything to kind of keep
Well, and
them.
it's actively reactionary.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the vibe shift in general from the like the tech companies and corporates just like kind of been unsettling, but it is very much so like you could see that it's obviously was going to happen, and it just kind of seems like that's just what like they need to do to rebrand. It's all about like branding for these people.
Yep,
But
it is. It is.
I'm like still excited about like I'm not excited about them having to change the brand, but I'm glad that that's not that stupid bullshit anymore because that's just not something that benefited me in any kind of capacity, like culturally. And so it's like a W for me at the end of the day. Them doing away with the DEI stuff and everything. I don't really deal with it much, like in my line of work or anything. But there was a
I mean,
time when I was having to sit through DEI trainings for like 3 hours a week for no fucking reason. So I would be
well, I
glad
mean,
if I was still doing that and it got shut down.
again, it's the same thing with DOGE, right? Um, I don't really stay up at night worrying about government efficiency. I don't really stay up at night and worry about like, uh, sensitivity training. But what I am interested in is just like going to the enemy's structures and burning them down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's really what it is, right?
Hmm.
Like DEI ideologically. I mean, I feel this. I feel this way. I feel this way towards conservatives that just want to like talk about it. I mean, they're correct. But like, I feel this way about conservatives that basically just endlessly and exclusively complain about the content of wokeness, and I feel this the same way about liberals that defend the content of wokeness. Is like, this is slop for fucking peasants.
Yeah.
And like, if you're actually paying attention to this and like actually believing, like this is the state. This is the state telling you that fucking Santa Claus exists. That's what black girl magic is. Like,
Hmm.
if you're actually believing this stuff on its face value and its stated value and terms, then you're like intellectually 10 years old. Like, I don't want to talk to you about the actual value of this stuff, right? I mean, and that's also why like the people that are just the full extent of their content of what they talk about online is just anti-woke are basically just, at the end of the day, just 90s liberals, because like there isn't content in this. There is real content. It's just dog shit. It shouldn't be taken seriously. And honestly, this is a little bit of a segue, but one thing that I'm really keyed up about and really positive about is, and Sam Hyde's been talking about this a decent amount, but like a lot of people have in general, which is just like,
I've been kind of on
really
the Sam
like,
Hyde. I've been checking
dude,
out some of
everybody
his stuff. Yeah,
dude, he's having a little personal renaissance right now.
he is.
I just really like this approach of just being like, you don't need to talk to these people anymore.
Mhm.
You don't need to ask them for permission. You don't need to fucking argue with them. If you find yourself in a situation where you're talking with them, they're going to come out of the gate with a frame. They're going to impose their frame on the conversation, which is what they always do and what they always have done. And you just don't need to argue with that.
Yeah.
You don't need to argue that. You can just laugh at them and just move on. It doesn't fucking matter anymore. And that's how I feel about like woke stuff and DEI stuff, is it's just like, dude, like, if you still feel the need to argue with the content of this, like, I don't even know how I would argue against that stuff anymore, because it's been so many years. It's just such a foregone conclusion. Why the fuck would I even argue it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not the point. The point is that like these structures make it so that like it's a legal requirement for workplaces to enforce one side of the aisle's ideological framework and legally have to reject the other side of the aisle's ideological framework. And that's a huge problem, right? It's like the I think like maybe a more substantive example of this is like the discussions we've had in the past about like repealing the Civil Rights Act, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is like, oh God. We got baby yelling.
She's saying hello.
She is.
She's got
hello.
lots of opinions about the DEI.
Oh man, well she's a white supremacist. Yeah, she's a little wignat baby.
You gotta get her on the pod as soon as she can speak. Then,
dude,
just wignat baby is huge clickbait.
It is huge clickbait. Anyways, it's just the like repealing the Civil Rights Act stuff, right? Where it's like, it's not. It's about lawfare more than it is actually like refuting like the symbolic value of the Civil Rights Act, right? It's a strategic move. And like every second you're spending, I mean, maybe I wouldn't be this bold about like wokeness and DEI, but to a limited extent, it's the same there, where it's just like every minute you're spending arguing the legitimacy of challenging these things is a waste of fucking time. Because that's not what it's about. It's like not about, you're not actually like refuting like, oh, the value of Black lives. And it's like, no, it's not about that. It's about the fact that this is a legal structure in which you force everyone to play by your rules and enforce your hegemony.
Mm-hmm.
And that needs to be destroyed.
Yeah.
Right.
That's something though that most people
sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, most people that you're encountering on the street, it's like, that's just such a novel take for them to hear. Like, they're just so caught up in just a symbolic, like, oh my God, they're getting rid of Martin Luther King Day. Can you believe it? They're coming after Black people now with the DEI. It's like, it's crazy the kind of hysteria that people get into where it's like, yeah, no. It's not about that. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, yeah, no. And like, and that's where like, and that's where like it comes back to what I was talking about earlier, where it's just like, you know what, mom, dad, boomer cons, like, you know, we're doing the deportations because we want all the dangerous, scary Mexican criminals gone. Like, you know, I'm not going to sit here for 3 hours and like explain to you, like
everything,
like the nuance of this. Like, actually, you can just think that it's about lighting people on fire on the subway. Fuck it. That's it. Like. It actually is just like the irritation we feel about people talking shit about white people. Totally. That's what this is about. Right. That's totally what this is about. You know, like you don't need to be totally on the same page. It doesn't matter. It like doesn't fucking matter. In fact, trying to educate the masses might be just like extremely destructive and a
Oh,
total waste of
it's the
energy.
biggest misstep you could take, I think.
These people are sick.
All right, we're back. You can hear me now?
What up?
Yeah, okay. So I for sure muted it on accident. I don't know why. I was like, I had this cover on my keyboard, and sometimes when I get to talking, I'll just kind of fidget with it, and I think I might have pressed whatever keyboard button mutes it. But I don't know enough about shortcuts, so I don't know if that's even something that exists. But anyways, I don't know where I was when I accidentally muted myself. So
I actually don't know, but this is like a pretty good time to maybe start winding down because I got my wife staring at me with this fucking
fuck.
fat baby in her arms,
Yeah.
and we're getting ready for dinner. You know, my daughter's 91st percentile for weight right now.
Really?
Yeah, dude, this baby is fat as
Just
fuck.
tubby little thing.
Dude, she's tubby as hell, dude. These cheeks, they have their own gravitational orbit. It's crazy.
Oh, they just pull
I
your
see,
hands
like-
right to it. You just pinch immediately.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
Old
It's
women
pretty-
can't stand
it's-
a chance around those cheeks, bro.
Dude, these hoes are on notice with this baby around. Bring her over here. Bring her over here. Dude, she's just sitting here, just getting carried around on a sling, just looking around.
That's
Like
the
she's
lap
in
of
a
luxury,
gondola. It is the lap of luxury, dude. It's sitting on my lap.
Just the air gondola, the sling.
The air gondola. Dude, I wish I could shrink myself down and get carried around by my wife. That would be sick.
I think that's every man's dream. At the end of the day, just for like, not always, but just like, it's like, man, just put me in your purse and carry me around so I don't have to deal with all these errands. You know what I mean?
Dude,
Like,
very few men are strong enough to admit such a thing.
right? Yeah, yeah. That's like a taboo to say something like that.
Yeah, well, but again, as we've already established, like we're a pretty pro woman podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Like especially if you're paying attention to like reading between the lines, checking out the subtext and everything, like we're informed largely by, you know, kind of the divine feminine aspect.
Yeah.
My wife is my muse.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
I mean, as any good man's would be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You've heard it here first. We are a woman-forward podcast. Very, very in touch with the divine feminine.
If you're a lady and you're listening to this, hit us up. We'd love to have you on the show just to talk about whatever. You know what I mean? Your menstrual cycle.
The moon?
USAID. I almost said WASD. Fucking yeah, fucking USAID, dude.
USAID.
US AIDS. Well, apparently, well, I'm not even gonna get into that. But yeah, man. So
Yeah, come on the
so,
pod,
yeah,
ladies. We're not going to air the episode, but we can at least chat it out.
dude, just like we almost certainly won't air the episode because we have certain appearances to maintain. But we are looking for a wife for COH for sure.
That is 100% true.
Well, we need him to pump out some stock so that I can marry off my child.
Man, how
you hear that,
powerful
honey?
of a wedding would that be, dude? That's like real nobility type shit.
That would be too much. Like it's arguably too much.
I mean, I would bequeath the Midwest to your child, and you would bequeath the Pacific Northwest to mine.
It would be a pairing of kingdoms, the likes the world has never seen. But this is all written out very clearly in Project 2025. So
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying anything that
if you would have read it
if you
before
would
you
just-
people voted for him.
if you had just read the fucking packet I sent you guys.
Oh man. Well, yeah, dude. Hopefully that'll all happen, and we'll be just running everything in the west of the Mississippi River someday.
I mean, we're gonna be fucking running this town. We're gonna be running this fucking town by summertime, dude. Trump appointments are incoming. T-Pass is ascendant. It's over for these hoes. I'm sorry.
Go. Can we be the official head of culture and like radio waves or whatever for the Trump administration?
So yes, and also I heard Trump's gonna have us replace the hosts of Chapo Trap House.
Oh, I thought you were about to say The View, and I was even more excited.
Well, those are all being blended together.
Yeah, to one
Because Chapo Trap House is, Chapo is basically like The View, but for like 27-year-old
men with an anxiety disorder.
Yeah. Does this still
My wife
exist?
laughed at that from the other room.
Does Chapo still even exist, dude?
It does, yeah.
Wow,
I
for
think.
him.
Actually, I actually legitimately don't know. Hold on, let me check real fast. We said we were gonna wind down, and now I'm looking up Chapo Trap House.
Now I'm getting fired up.
I'm getting fired up about these fucking twisted up little freaks, dude.
These people are sick. I'm telling you, they're sick.
They're fucking sick.
What are you doing listening to Chapo Trap House post? Well, really ever, but definitely post 2016, like 2020, like any of that. Post the 2020 Bernie fiasco. It's like, what the fuck are you even thinking listening to those people? I don't even know what they could have to offer.
I genuinely don't know. I don't know. Oh man! All right, it's still going. It's still going. To be totally honest, I just had such a fucking like blast from the past there back to like 2018, 2019, and kind of just cringed at my past self.
Just quantum leaping back to your past self that listened to that cringe.
Yeah, exactly. So I just kind of ruined my mood. So fuck you guys. Yeah, no, it's all right. These people are all going to be liquidated soon anyway.
I
so
mean, God willing.
In Minecraft.
Yeah, God willing, they will. I'm going to beat them like a little square sheep.
Yeah, exactly, in Minecraft.
Of course in Minecraft, never in real life. But anyways, Slav, I'll let you get back to, marital bliss and fatherhood, and I'll go on to just, doing basically nothing tonight. But
oh my God. No, I ruined your mood too.
Oh man, we're sour pusses over here tonight.
I know. But we love women, so we got that.
I mean, we absolutely love women. You know what? I'm going to be out on top here soon. I'm going to have a new wife. I'm going to have a child. They're going to be courting your child, and maybe even it could possibly be, and I don't want to be, a little too forward here, but could maybe even be a interracial relationship down the line here. So really bring some culture into the mix.
Oh shit! Are you like courting like a black broad or something?
Oh, indeed. I mean, there's always a couple of,
irons in the fire.
Yeah, the different paint on the easel, or if you will, different colors.
Jesus Christ! All right, we're shutting it down. We're shutting it down.
These people are sick.
This is obviously a very, very sick individual. These people are the sickest of them all. These people are sick. They are sick. And you better get used to hearing it. These people are sick.